Radio, where the fast life meets the fast lane.
Yeah.
You're now tuned into Bars and Hoops Radio. Where the world of hip-hop and sports live.
Dropping the clutch and then I hit the gas. Wheels screeching, tires burning, I'm flying past. Gotta get home quick, don't wanna miss the class. They schooling you on whips and how to make them fast. Talking about everything from cars to planes. What's hot, what's next, and how to flip the game. They talk in my language, we speak the same. That whip talk complex, but yet they keep it plain. From the news, the interviews, they keep it cool. They give reviews, everything from parts to tunes. Can't lose, come to whips, they not no fools. Don't miss the show, the start time is noon. The bearded one, STI Sean, ain't crazy though. You can't miss it, tune in to Rally Radio.
Where the fast life meets the fast lane.
Whoop, 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 whoop. Shout to everybody who's tuned in, paying attention. You already know what it is, man. It's the bearded one in the building. Apologize for the tardiness, but we here. Shout to my guy, Darth Spalding, tuned in. Let's go. We in the building, man. Let me tell you something, man. Sometimes you got to be Clark Kent, right? I had to run off and do what I had to do, but it is now over, and I am here, man. Shout to everybody who's tuned in, paying attention. I know y'all see what's going on out here. The new STI, no manual. Congestion pricing has been rocking for a week. And let me tell you, there's already some people that's super pissed off. It's crazy, but it's going down out here. Shout to everybody who's rocking. I'm sorry for the tardiness. Got caught up at the day job, but I am here, man. Shout to everybody who's tuned in, paying attention. You see y'all rocking with us, and we jumping right into it. You know how we get down, man. It is crazy out here. Crazy out here to say the least. You already know what it is. It's crazy out here. Already started snowing. It's cold out here. You know, you get the silliest drivers in the world out here, but got to make it happen one way or the other, man. It's definitely crazy out here. Definitely. But some other things you wanted to talk about here. One, we're going to call this new thing we're talking about the starting grid. This is going to be how we start off the show from here on out. Just to talk about a couple things that I've been dying to talk about for the whole week, but I only get to talk to y'all once a week. But that's going to change too. Don't forget to check out for our little bit of shorts that we be putting on YouTube. Definitely going to have a couple short shows too on YouTube, so check that out. Don't forget, Rally Radio Podcast. You know where to find it. Shout out to everybody. We appreciate y'all early. So with that being said, we're going to jump right into it. Got a lot of things going on out here. A lot of things going on out here. So starting grid, I just wanted to talk a little bit about the congestion pricing. And you know what? I will say that a lot of people didn't see this. Shout to my guy, 2J in the building. Let's go. We are here, man. We are here. Apologize for the tardiness, but I am in the building, man. I'm going to tell you, we talking about this congestion pricing today. So far, it's been moving for about a week. And people have been upset. They have been upset. They have been upset, to say the least. Shout to Tisha Adeline. How you doing? Appreciate you. Tuned in early. Let's go. Sorry for the inconvenience. Sorry for the tardiness. Shout to Jessica Grandy in the building as well. You already know what it is. We're talking about this congestion pricing right here. So this has really been like a culmination of things. And this is a lot that we've been talking about here on Rally Radio. I'm going to tell you. We've been talking about it a lot as far as the scamdemic is concerned. And now you see it for what it is. It's going down out there. And y'all thought we was kidding all this time. Y'all thought that when we was talking about, oh, they trying to raise this and do that, and oh, they putting speed cameras everywhere. Shout to my guy Tiny, tuned in. Let's go. You know what it is. Appreciate everybody tuning in. Let's go. Now you see the congestion pricing. It's real. It's real. A lot of people didn't think it was going to happen. They thought it was going to be stopped in the 11th hour once again. It's not the case. They have officially pushed it to the limit, and they have done it. So now it is officially, they're charging you to get to the city. Now, my biggest question, and I've always talked about this here, is where does it stop? Why do they want to charge you to go to the city? Is it because they it's a lot of things on there? They're saying it's congestion, but congestion is going to happen. See, that's how you know this is not about congestion. It's not about environment. Has nothing to do with that, because delivery trucks are still going to be making deliveries. Cabs are still going to be bringing people to their jobs. You still got all these parking garages that's going to have to find something to do, right? Because now, let's say it's going to be less cars driving to the city. But at the end of the day, nothing changes except for your pockets. And this is why we call it the scamdemic. And they're not finished. They're not finished. This could also go up on days that they consider gridlock. Shout to everybody who's tuned in paying attention. This can also go up on days that people consider that TA considers gridlock. And I think a lot of people miss that part of the fine print, that they're going to allow them to raise the rates on a gridlock alert. Yes, they're going to be able to raise the rates on that for the gridlock alert. So you got to look at these things. And I said this before. They treating people who drive cars how they used to treat smokers back in the day. Remember, anytime they had any kind of shortfall with anything in the city, what did they do? They raised the prices of cigarettes. Oh, you know what? Cigarettes I believe it was $5 a pack or $4, something like that. And if you notice, they've raised it to the point where a lot of people got so mad that a lot of people even started to quit smoking, because they had went up to $10, $12, $15 a pack. I'm not sure what they cost now. But at the end of the day, they're doing the same thing. They're doing the same thing when it comes to the auto. Shout out to Jessica Grandy. She said they're trying to run us out of New York. Right. But the only reason they haven't been able to successfully do it is because, one, they know that they need us here because we still got a lot of that work. Shout out to Jessica Grandy. $20. That is crazy. I didn't know it was that high. I didn't know. So a pack of cigarettes is $20. Give me your fucking money. That's crazy. And that's just the beginning. And they're doing drivers like how they did smokers. And I remember that when that was going on, a lot of people was pissed off. They was like, yeah. Then now they was like, oh, we're going to get rid of menthol and all of that. But we ain't going to get into the cigarette smoking of it, because I was pretty much just using that as something that we could base it on. When you look at what they're doing to everybody, it's crazy. Shout to my guy Zoom for Zoom. Tuned in early. Let's go. So now they parking tickets. And we talked about this, the scamdemic. Parking tickets, exhaust tickets, bus lane tickets. Come on. They're not finished. Red light cameras. They said they installing 450 more. 450 intersections. They dropping the speed limit. They're not playing. They know what they're doing. And the drivers are going to pay for this until you either not really want to give your car up. No. They're going to stop there. They're going to make sure they keep it low enough where you keep paying. Shout to Tisha. She said, make more, pay more. That's exactly. Shout to Mr. 2J. He said, if I have to pay to drive in the city, I'm doing 70 going down Manhattan. Since I paid for it, I'm getting my money's worth. I hear that. But this is what they're doing. Congestion pricing, this is why you got to see it for what is a scamdemic. Once we had COVID, it sped up everything. And I know people see it. I know I'm not making this up. I know everybody see what's going on out here. Once we had COVID, it sped up everything. And now we seeing what the true plan is. We seeing what the true plan is. I think the sad part about it is that a lot of people still say, oh, you know, it's good for the city. Okay. I could say Manhattan is definitely one of the more crowded lower Manhattan or midtown Manhattan, or what they call the financial district, is definitely more crowded than any other part of Manhattan. But shouldn't it be? This is where the money at. This is New York City. That's where it should be. But you got to figure congestion pricing. People are pissed off that they got to pay for a subway that they don't ride. And I can only imagine how this is going to go. Shout to all my transit workers. Do not engage. Do not engage. People are mad. Let them vent. As long as they stay over there, you fine. Do not engage. It's not for you to get into it with them and talk to them about it, because at the end of the day, it don't got nothing to do with you. But you got to see exactly what's going on out here. And like I said, this to me is a prime example why you always got to watch who you're voting for. We got to make sure we pay attention to this stuff. Shout to Yannick. Let's go. So it's crazy. I'll be flipping the cars from the sheriff auction after the pandemic. They took so many people's cars. It's crazy. The sheriff lots be packed. They have to have so many mobile auctions weekly now. This is what I'm talking about. This is what and you're right. They scamdemic. They lowered the amount of money it takes to tow your car now, too. See, that is also something. Shout to my guy, Yannick Grisman, saying, appreciate you for tuning in. That's a real problem right there. They lowered how much. I think the threshold was like $700 they was going to tow your car. I think now it's $350. So now if it's $350, you got a couple red light tickets or speed camera tickets that you don't know about. There you go. You getting vic'd. They taking your car and you can't pay for it. We'll sell it and we'll get our money out of it and give you the rest if that's the case. That to me is bully ball. I can't believe they playing like that. But at the end of the day, these are the kind of things that we got to pay attention to. Like I said, you got to look at who you voting for. They didn't want to find money to keep transit running. So what do? They go in your pockets. That's it. They go in your pockets. Now, let's be honest here. They said, it looks like it's less traffic. You believe that? No. More people on the subway. I could believe that because a lot of people don't want to pay this fine. Shout to Jessica Green. She said, what about if you don't pay the ticket in the time, the $100 add-on? Yeah, that $100 add-on is what they banking on. Shout to Yannick. That's exactly what he's talking about. That $100, you didn't pay it. Now it raises the price of the ticket up. And now when we find your car, we towing it. So either you're going to pay what you owe, interest, tow fees, and you got to give it all to us. We ain't making no installments, or we keep your car. There you go. It's all a hustle, I'm going to tell you. Shout out to everybody who's tuned in, Rally Radio, paying attention. I appreciate all of y'all. Apologize for the tardiness. Definitely had to handle some other business at the job, but I did make it. I apologize. But so many other things we wanted to talk about here. California. Shout to the Brown Hornet, tuned in. Don't forget, if you tuned in on Facebook or don't forget you tune in on YouTube at Rally Radio Podcast. That is our YouTube page. If you haven't subscribed, please subscribe. Rally Radio Podcast. Check us out for more. You already know what it is. But with that being said, the California fires, LA is looking like a war zone right now. LA looks like a war zone. And you know it's crazy? All of that money that's floating through there, all the taxes that people pay, and they could not get this fire under control. I find that hard to believe. Now it looks like the governor, Newsom, he's ordering the water companies to be investigated and all of this. But the crazy part is that they're saying that Newsom was the one who cut their budget by $100 million. The forest fighting fire department, he cut them by $100 million this year, and look what happened. It's crazy. This is what I mean. The people you vote for. I can't understand why a lot of people, like even California especially, shout to Tisha, yeah, prayers for California because people lost their lives out there. They lost everything. I couldn't believe what I was seeing when I saw some of the pictures of the aftermath. Like, I can't believe this is people's homes, and this is where people lived and people flourished and walked around. I can't believe it because what I saw, I was in shock. Shout to Mr. 2J. He said legally they're out here trying to steal your car. That's a fact. Shout to Yannick. He said money grab. Adam just forced all homeowners to buy special garbage cans for residential homes. This city is cooked. All the rich people left. Same with California. All the wealthy people and businesses owners are leaving. California even set fire equipment to look at this right here. Sent fire equipment to Ukraine. Shout to my guy Yannick. I appreciate now that is crazy. And you got to look at, and it's true, it's going on everywhere. For the past 7 years, these have been the top 4 cities where people are migrating and leaving. California, #1. New York, #2. Chicago, #3. Boston, Massachusetts, number 4. You know what number 5 is? Jersey. Who would have expected that? Shout out to my sister. She told Canary too. Meanwhile, a big insurance company pulled out from the homeowners in California. So it looks like the government is getting involved with that too. Talking about they have to have a 1-year moratorium, that they can't just bail out on these people like that. But it just goes to show this is how business is. They don't care. It is a scam-demic. They out here, they stealing people money. They stealing people money. They are stealing people money. And the reason I wanted to talk about it is because we're seeing it happen right before our eyes. And as much as they say, oh, you know, Trump was the only one that really brought that out, you know? And it's like now you got to really be careful with the things you hear, obviously, but they saying California fire prevention took a hit the year before the fires. The Newsom administration claims it boosted overall funding since they opened the office in 2019, but it looks like for the 2024-25 fiscal year, they eliminated $101 million from 7 wildlife and forest resilience programs. So maybe that has something to do with it. Who knows? But I know the biggest thing right now with them was water. That's why he's supposedly investigating all of the water companies. Why wasn't enough water in the hydrants? It's just a dance out there. It's all a money grab, and all of these big cities are feeling it. All of these big cities are feeling it, and so are the people who are there. And now they like, you know what? It's going to start separating now. You're going to see it. The rich people is going to be up here in these blue states, and you're going to start having people who want a more relaxed lifestyle move further south into the red states. It is what it is. Shout to Tisha. She said California should have some type of sprinkling system that comes on when this type of disaster comes about, that protects the homes where it wouldn't spread. And you know, it's something, all right, when you think about that, they've been going through forest fires for a long time. We all know Smokey the Bear. We've heard it. Only you could prevent forest fire. All of that was going on this west side over here, to the point where it was like, you know, we got to do something. So it's been going on a long time. Why it seem like there's something we can't get a hold of? It isn't. Now, wildfires are a natural thing. But at the end of the day, you got to be able to combat that. And it doesn't make any sense. Shout to the Brown Horn. He said, I remember back when Bloomberg was pushing for this congestion pricing, I never thought it would come to fruition. And look at it. Look at it. And now they're like, oh, we're going to use it. We're going to use it for this. We're going to use it for that. But now they're talking about raising your taxes too. We didn't even get into that. Now New York City's talking about raising it on top of the congestion pricing. It's a $33 billion shortfall. They're like, we're going to have to raise taxes in New York. Are they kidding? Are they kidding? But they will not put the money or manpower to it. They won't. They won't. And that's why this place, I'm telling you, it's a scam-demic out here. They out here shaking people down. They shaking us down. And the more we keep putting people in here who are, I wouldn't say fiscally irresponsible, even though that's what they're showing with the budget, is that New York City been kicking the can down the road, just like California, just like Chicago. A lot of these things are going crazy. Shout to my guy Rolak in the building. Let's go. Bad enough the rents are crazy. That's exactly what I'm talking about. And see, the reason they want to raise your taxes, and I want y'all to listen to me clearly on this one. Donald Trump's tax plan, you were capped at $10,000 for your property tax and your mortgage insurance. Or not your mortgage insurance, your mortgage interest. You're capped. State and local tax, property tax, mortgage insurance, they cap you at 10 grand. So remember, New York City's tax rate is, I believe, is right now like 4 or 5 or even 6,000. Oh, we got a call. Rally Radio, who we got in the box?
Yeah, it's your boy Big J in the building.
Shout out to my guy Jay. What's going on, Jay? What it is?
Nothing much, man. Nothing much. Which was out here living life, and I guess I got out at the best time possible since, you know, California looks like Sacramento.
It's a hustle out here, Jay. What you got to say about this congestion pricing, man? It's been going on for a week so far.
Man. You know what? Actually, let me give you guys one call back really quickly. I'll be right back. I'll call you guys right back.
All right. Shout out to everybody who's tuned in, paying attention. I will say this, right? Now, what, like I was saying about the tax plan, the way that the way that the tax plan works, like I said, you're capped at 10 grand, right? Now, for places like Long Island, Westchester, Jersey, Connecticut, people that pay high tax, that sucks. You lose a lot of money in your tax return. That's what a lot of people has been complaining about that own homes, right? But now you have places that have a lower tax bracket. They don't pay as much, or not necessarily pay as much. It covers them. Rally Radio, who we got?
You, my bad. I am here at work, so so yeah, you said congestion pricing.
Yes. What do you think? It's been going on for a week. Hold on. Before you start, for people that want to call in, the number is 516-206-0711. We put it down there at the bottom of the screen. Continue, Jay. What's going on?
Oh, man. You mean New York's big money grab?
The biggest
highway robbery? In a literal sense?
With no mask.
No mask. It's impressive. You know what? Okay. You know what? On one end, politically speaking, they had to cancel it originally because it was political suicide. They knew for a fact if they ran it like they were supposed to originally, no one was going to help them stay in office. Now that it's in, they got their positions protected. They said, you know what? The MTA needs a little bit more money, and it's kind of sad because I feel like, I hate to say this, but other blue states essentially are going to see this and be like, we can make more money off this too. That's crazy.
Exactly. Chicago, California, they are going to follow. I wouldn't even be shocked if Atlanta, because Atlanta has bad traffic. Shout to my guy Yannick. He said NYC is building jails in Queens, Brooklyn, Bronx, and Manhattan. It's getting spooky outside. He ain't lying.
Yeah, they got the what you call it? One of them, I think, is a skyscraper jail that's in Chinatown now. But if you look at the building from the outside, it looks like a regular building. But I'm not sure. It's near Canal Street, in fact. So they figured, we're going to put a skyscraper jail here, and we'll put all our fellas here if we're going to get rid of Rikers Island. But to me, I'm going to say this in a very PG sense because I have some words about this.
Yes.
It is not surprising. Okay. It does not surprise me that they are sitting up here robbing other New Yorkers, basically New Yorkers who drive cars.
Yes.
Who are actually from the city, who will straight up tell you right off the bat, it's already hard enough. You're talking about a state in a city that already has some of the highest insurance rates in the country. That's already a big mark on us for the most part.
And it's only going to go up. It's only going to go up. Continue on.
Exactly. It's only going to go up. And with the way how insurance has hold us out right now, it's almost like why even have any?
Right.
Anyways, then if it's not that, it's the fact that the speed limit now is 20 miles an hour, which is a joke because how does that get enforced?
They hustle. 20 mile an hour speed limit. Shout to my guy Rolak. He said, didn't London do the congestion pricing first? They did. And that's where New York got the idea. And they have been looking at that ever since. And everything that London does, they trying to jump on. So with the cameras. Right.
They have all the AI tech. Here's the funny part, though. London is only about the size of all of Brooklyn and maybe 2/3 of Queens.
But the money's there, though. A lot of people don't know that London is like it. That's where the money's at. Continue on, Jay.
Yeah, exactly. They see it right now as, this is where the money is. And I mean, look, I get it. Yep. But then for them to sit up there and say, the MTA needs more money. It's like, but you're also charging strap hangers $3. And then in the same breath say, by the way, there was a lady set on fire. There was a someone getting flashed and people getting pushed onto the tracks. It's like,
It's
so
going
you want
down.
you want.
Wait, I gotta stop you there, Jay. It is definitely Streets of Rage / Street Fighter 2 / Mortal Kombat in the subway system. I can't front. It's going down outside. And then they want more people down there. Continue on.
Right, it's more people down there. Then they say, "Hey, cool, we're going to send the National Guard," and that's a joke in itself because and maybe some of the more tourist sides of of the subway, which is just it's insane. So now in the same vein of everything going on, they're basically saying, "Hey, let's punish all the drivers going into and out of the city," which is also wild because I don't want to put this out there. I don't want to wish this on all of us, but they thought about it. It's only going to be a minute if let's say for example, if you're taking the Belt, the BQE, the Van Wyck, and they're like, "Yo, let's hit them with some toll. Let's put some toll roads on that too."
Listen, and that's what I'm saying. We sliding down the razor blade into the alcohol river, man. They listen. They was able to do this. And then you know what's gonna come next? You know what's coming next, Jay? Parking permits. Parking permits. You're gonna need a parking permit to park in certain places, kid. Trust me. That's
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no. I'm agreeing with you. And the real sad part about it is that no matter how much we try to say, "Oh yeah, don't do that," and they'll be like, "Nah, let's do that." So your part of town is going to get close when you start seeing those city bikes get put up in your neighborhoods.
Yeah, listen, and that's just the beginning. And this is what I'm saying. All of this been in play for a little while. It's been in play for a little while. So this is why I say, shout out to my guy Rohag. He said it's wilder than rice out there. He got stories. And shout to Shy. He said London / England's cutting the camera down off GP. He's right. And shout to Tanya, my sister. She said, but the congestion in London is still there. That's a fact. Because they know people gonna drive, just like they know cigarette smokers are gonna smoke. They know it. So they could just keep going back to that well. Every time they short, they go back to the well. But they gotta keep it at a point where you don't wanna quit. Because when they do, they lose.
Exactly. And the thing is that, like I said, well, the thing is there's no regulation on it. Like, I mean, listen, I don't expect Trump to sit up here and, fix the policy. That's just not going to happen. As in a fantasy world, sure, but, it's not going to happen.
Right.
What I do expect to happen, though, is that New Jersey is going to go through and probably win with this lawsuit because I feel for people out in Jersey. Imagine, if you will, you have to pay I think it's like $20 now. Okay. $20-something to get into the city, then pay another $9.
I'm gonna be honest with you. I ain't feeling sorry for the Jersey people though, because he's talking about doing his own congestion pricing in Jersey. They do that, we finish. Because we gotta go through Jersey to get out of here.
I just look at that. I'm just like, at this point in time, it would have been way easier to say, "Yeah, we'll put a command on all cars."
Crazy.
That would have been way easier, but. To answer the other thing, in California, so I could kind of speak about this a little bit because I obviously lived out there, right?
Yes.
Gavin and the mayor, ironically enough, named Karen out there.
Yes.
Slashed the funding to the fire department out there. So she slashed the fire department's budget by about $2 million. I can't be exact number, but about $2 million. And that's just in the LA County itself, which is absolutely insane. It's an insane amount of money to cut down in a place where you catch fire.
And that's like New York doing away with they flood work.
Right,
like,
exactly.
That makes
and
no sense.
Look how well that's turned out sometimes.
And my thing is, people are paying so much in they're paying so much in taxes. It's like people, and this is what's happening. The only people that's really keeping these cities alive are the middle class. I'm telling you. Because at the end of the day, we the ones that pay the most taxes. But people are starting to get fed up, and they like, you know what? For the past 7 years, those 5 cities I just gave you have been in the top 10 of migration for the past 7 years. So now, where do you think they're going to? North Carolina, Texas,
Yeah.
Virginia.
North Carolina, Florida, yeah, like any place that's a red state, they're looking at like how easy. I mean, granted, they have their own change of problems. It's not say it's impossible,
Of
but
course.
I mean, I'm not even going to hold you. I've been looking at a couple of. I'm not trying to say in New York. Oh hell no. What you call it? I'm looking at like a few states like North Carolina or Florida. I will say this: I have dunked on Florida a ton of times, but you know what?
Nah, I'm good.
Life has told me, you know what? Maybe give it a look. Maybe give it one or two looks. But no, like North Carolina is probably one of the places I'm looking at. But but no, like it's kind of insane how you have these. Mind you, these are only the major cities out here. These major blue cities that are saying, "Hey, come on through." By the way, we're gonna tell you the spend an arm and a leg just to even get from point A to point B. Oh, use our transportation system. Oh, by the way, you might have to square up with like at least like 2 or 3 crackheads before you get to your destination.
I'm gonna tell you, and shout to my guy Rolak. He know. It's you gotta watch your back when you get on the subway. And I'm just gonna keep it a buck, and then we're gonna move on to the car stuff. Because I know, listen, we are automotive podcast. The only reason we diving into politics and all of that now is because automotive news and politics have been merging like they never merged before. But he said it, and we've seen it. We've seen in the past couple weeks, we've seen a lady be set on fire. We've seen people pushed in front of trains. We've seen people knifed up, stabbed up, robbed at gunpoint, shots. They've even attacked numerous employees. Shout to all my transit workers. They've attacked numerous employees. Shout to the transit workers that still get out there and get it done. At the end of the day, you trying to tell me it's safe? People they don't even pay. People just hop the turnstiles, slide under turnstiles like it's. And we ain't even talking about people that's like, we talking about people in business attire. They tuck their briefcase and jump right over it, kid. I swear on everything I love.
Yeah. And then in the same vein say, oh man, we're running out of money. It's like, no, you guys are robbing people left and I know it's like I can go on about this for like a long time, man. It's such a heavy-handed issue with it, and it's what's crazy is the amount of the amount of open corruption that's happening right now is, to a lot of these so just like, regular middle class folks is insane. That's the reason why, honestly, I don't see this thing lasting very long.
Nah.
Just because enough people are going to make noise.
Nah, it's on, kid. It's on.
Yeah.
I have never seen a state invoke a tax and then take it back. I've never seen it. And the only time I've seen that was the tea tax from the Boston Tea Party. And look what they had to do to get that. Blood had to be shed. They had to throw tea all in the water. So trust me, they already all over it. Let me tell you, the only way this gets repealed is if that has something to do with Hochul getting another term. You feel what I'm saying?
Yeah, and exactly. And what's crazy is that, and the thing is, a lot of people also don't realize, why so many policies between Cali and New York get to where they are. It's because of Hochul and Gavin Newsom are, close friends. So.
Of course. They're not the same party. And you know what? We can't even say party because we all saw the video with Trump, Obama, Bush, and they all cool. And we out here getting mad at each other for the things that they want to enact. That's why we just got to be smart and vote for what we want. Shout to my guy Zoom for Zoom. He said, and they hopped the turnstile right in front of the cops. That's a fact.
Exactly. It is when I always look at it. I'm just like, it's kind of funny because the only ones that will probably stop you are the undercovers. And even that's just like, look, it ain't even worth it. Because they got in there, they've been slashed even, with their funding.
Yeah. So I'm telling you, these are the things you got to pay attention to. It's like, now they don't want you arming yourself. They, like New York City, California, a lot of them have strict gun laws. They don't want you arming yourself. Why? All the crime is going on right here. You just had a home invasion in Florida. They came into the man's house to steal his car keys. And that's another thing, people. They're breaking into people's homes to steal your car keys. They're breaking into your home because they realize that they can't get the signal off your key fob no more. A lot of people are more smarter. They have the RFID blocking boxes. They're breaking into your home now. Yep. So now you got to really be careful. It happened in Florida. The guy put 2 bullets in one of them and the other one ran away and got arrested. You know what the sheriff said? He said, if you break in somebody's house in Florida, expect to be shot.
Yeah, you know what? I'm not even going to hold you. You know what? I'm all about that energy. I'm not even going to hold you. Like, that's why I'm like, Florida. I was always drunk in Florida before. Florida. Just saying.
He was serious. He looked at the camera. He said, if you are a criminal, you are breaking into people's homes in Florida, expect to be shot because everybody has a weapon down here. You can't say that for New York City. You know who don't have the weapon when you think about it? Cops have weapons. Criminals have weapons. The law-abiding citizen has hope. That's it.
Exactly. And then, and it's just like, if you leave it in New York, the narrative would have been like, well, you could have just gave it up. And I mean, it's just a car. You can always get another one. It's like, no.
But I digress, man.
I'm going to send some freedom down the hallway if I have to.
Shout to my mom. Oh, my mom is stupid. She said they're already talking about parking permits. I'm telling you. It's going down, man. Yo, Jay, we got a pound more show to do. As usual, though, man, we appreciate you for calling in. What else you got for us today?
You know what? Hang on. Before I go, though, 2 things I gotta put out there. First, I don't know if you know in automotive news.
Oh, of course.
Toyota. Alrighty. Toyota just dropped a prototype of what they're going to be doing for their future. With they took a Yaris and they took their new their 4-cylinder that they're dubbing the G20. Which I guess is, think of everything the G16 was with an extra cylinder.
Tremendous. So we can give Toyota a shout out for that. That's one. What else you got?
You know what? Love it. Guess what? They're putting it in their Yaris, and the Yaris is now mid-engine.
Whoa.
Yes. In fact, I actually posted it up onto the group page.
Yes.
Please check it out. It is actually going to be their test bed for their MR2. So basically, and it's actually going to be raced in their new GTC series coming up this year. So keep an eye on that.
They pretty much built a Renault Clio.
They pretty much built a Renault Clio or the Japanese middle finger to Porsche. You
already know what it is, Jay. You know where they going with it. Yo, Jay,
I
appreciate
and I love that. Yeah, man.
You know what it is. Keep tuning in because we got a lot more to talk about.
Absolutely.
All right, Jay. We appreciate you one more time. My guy, Jay, Mr. 2J. All right, Jay, we're going to get up with you. All right, later. Shout to Mr. 2J one more time, man. Shout to everybody who's tuned in, rocking with us, paying attention. Don't forget, drop a like, drop a comment so we can shout you out. With that being said, you see it all out here. Shout to my guy Flip. Shout to Tracy Richards Brown. Shout to my guy Yannick Grisman, Sam, Vinny Sereno Sr., and shout to Laura Torres and Tisha. You already know what it is. We appreciate all of y'all. You already know what it is. We are in the building. We going in now. You know what it is. Got a couple other hot topics we want to talk about. We also had the EV R32. So for those that don't know, Tokyo right now is having one of the biggest car shows going on out there called the Tokyo Auto Salon for 2025. I've been checking out the videos. Right now, today is day 2 or 3, and it has been phenomenal. Don't forget, Rally Radio will be at that Tokyo Auto Salon next year, though, January. Trust me. Don't have a choice. We got to be there. But so many different things have come up. They have an EV Nissan GTR R32. And I've talked about this before. I was sick about it. They popped the hood on this thing, and I was even more sick about it. I said, I don't even want to see anymore. But I will say that Nissan did the best job they could do to turn something like this into an electric vehicle, but it's not feasible for some of us other people. We simply cannot afford one to buy R32 and then do that and then put batteries, and it's no way, especially with the clean job that they did. I will give them their props for that, but converting that R32 to EV was blasphemy. I get that. I get why they did it. I just don't agree with it. But I will say that's probably the only thing that I didn't agree with there at the Tokyo Auto Salon that I've seen so far. So far, we've had crate engines, 2 JZ crate engines, 3 SGE crate engines, 4A GTE crate engines from Tom's alone. The work wheels, they've been rehabbing GTRs and selling them there. Man, RX-7, a 3-rotor RX-7, I don't know if this is what I saw. I got to look at it again. It looked like it had individual throttle bodies, and I'm not sure. I know the rotary engine has an intake. Obviously, it takes in air, but it was a 3-rotor, and it had 3 horns, 3 air horns coming out of each rotor. I mean, 1 air horn coming out of each rotor. And I was thinking, like, wow, is that a ITB setup for a 3-rotor engine? That right there to me is crazy. Definitely something I want to get more of a look at before I report any more about it. And obviously, Liberty Walk with the Lamborghini Miura. They've taken $1 million car, chopped it up, lowered it, slammed it. You know how Liberty Walk do if you haven't seen it. Shout to them. The Liberty Walk Lamborghini Miura has to be, to me, I hate to say it, because usually when they chop these cars, got a call. Rally Radio, who we got in the box?
Yo, what's going on, Pop? It's Tiny. What's the deal, man?
Yo, Tiny, what it is? Shout to my guy, Tiny, man. What's going on, Tiny? What's good?
Hey, yo. I know we moved on to the other subject. I just called late because I just want to say about the congestion pricing.
Let's go.
Right. It affects everyone. If everybody don't think it don't affect them, it affects everyone.
Yes.
Because what's going to happen is now they're going to charge more for the items that they bring in. That's got to go through Manhattan and come through Long Island.
There we go.
So if they're going to be charging the trucks is going to be getting charged $27.
Yep. Let's go.
Going in and out. So they're getting charged twice. Yep. So you don't think they're going to go up on items that's got to be delivered to Long Island? It's crazy. We're about to get affected by that. Now,
tell them, Tiny.
It's suicide.
Tell them, Tiny. They ain't listening.
Now the other thing is, though, it did happen when they enforced the speed, the 20-mile speed cameras at the schools.
Yes.
And all the people had an uproar.
Yes.
To the point where they stopped that. They stopped that because the people had an uproar. So it is a possibility that you can stop this congestion pricing, because you can't stop it. It's just that all the people got to be on the same page and got to do an uproar. That's it.
So
and they can stop it because they stopped the speed tickets. They stopped the speeding tickets at the speed zone, and in Suffolk County, they deemed the red light tickets unconstitutional or something like that, to the point where they got to reimburse people that got charged for the red light tickets because they was overcharging them or something.
So what it was that was actually a good one. That was Nassau County. Nassau County, they was charging them fees on the red light tickets and was making money off of that.
It wasn't Nassau. No, it wasn't Nassau County. It was Suffolk County.
No, it was Nassau, because Suffolk got rid of the red light cameras altogether.
They got rid of that because they was overcharging like they was doing. The same thing they do with Nassau, they did that with Suffolk County.
Okay.
To the point where they got rid of the red light cameras.
Yes.
Because they deemed it like, yo, you was overcharging people. So people right now, if you felt like you was overcharged and one of those red light tickets you got in Suffolk County, you can go and get that money back.
That's a fact. Shout to my guy Daryl Simeon. He said that's Long Island, but in the boroughs it's a different story. What you got to say to that, Tiny?
It's the same thing. Once the people get mad, man, and come together, that's going to all turn. But everybody got to be on the same page.
See that now, right there, Tiny. Not to stop you, right there.
Mm-hmm.
You see how you said that everybody got to be on the same page? Have you looked at like have you seen some of the interviews they've done for the people that like either live in Manhattan or whatever, and when they ask them how they feel about congestion pricing, and they're okay with it?
Yeah,
this is the problem. We have people that we don't know what they do.
But see, the thing is, they're okay with it until they get affected by it, which is going to happen. You see what I'm saying? Like right now, all the businesses are suffering, whether you believe it or not, right? In Manhattan, because of the congestion pricing. All those cars is not coming through there. All those people is not going to be coming through there. It's going to affect the prices to the point where they're going to raise everything up because they're not usually getting the money that they was usually getting because of the congestion pricing.
Yes.
So now, once they start going up to $15 for a crate of eggs or something like that, they're going to be like, wait a minute, yo, what's going on? Oh, we got to make up for the congested prices.
Yo,
they're going to then get mad and then say, all right, yo, we now got to be on the same page.
It's funny you say just eggs and because eggs is just up right now because of this bird flu. They about to go up double when they got to go to Manhattan.
Right.
Shout to my guy Daryl Simeon as well. Shout to him for tuning in. He said they're about to put 150 more cameras in NYC. That's the red light camera. So Tiny, check this out. Right? In the midst of all of this going on, right? A lot of people, including myself, believe that this is a twofold thing, the congestion pricing. And this is one of the things, what I think. Not only is it people are paying to get into the city, it's also a reader to let them know who is coming into the city. Now, what do I mean by that? What I mean is now you can't get into Manhattan in your car without the reader catching your license plate and them knowing who you are. And I think it's twofold.
That's true.
You know what I mean? I think that's one of the reasons why they on the low, they saying it's for congestion, but I think it has a lot more to do with that, with them watching everything that's going on in Manhattan. I mean, I could be wrong, but I strongly believe that that's one of the reasons why they like, yo, because remember, they put the readers up and they wasn't even on.
Right.
Or at least they wasn't charging you. They were on.
They were on.
Exactly. So this is more like a license plate reader kind of thing. You know who else did this? The Port Authority of New York and New Jersey, when they was using the what bridge? I think it's the outer bridge. They put cameras on the top of that thing so that you could read. Because
they were trying to catch the people with the ghost plates.
There you go.
With the ghost plates, and it got to the point where they started towing people who was outstanding with their tolls now.
But you know what, Tiny? Where does it stop? They say that they're using it. Oh, we're gonna get the ghost cars. Now you know what? We're just gonna clock everybody's speed from here. Because if you using your Easy Pass and you came in through the Midtown Tunnel, and now you coming up through here, and now you're paying a congestion tax, it takes about 25. Take about 5 minutes or 4 minutes. If you're doing regular speed, you here in 1 minute, you were speeding. Like they got ways.
Yeah. Now, and people got to realize something else too, right?
Mm-hmm.
People was taking that 59th Street Bridge because it was free. It was a free way into Manhattan, right?
Yes.
So you go into Manhattan first. Now you're paying for the 59th Street Bridge, and now you're paying that $9 congested pricing.
Mm-hmm.
It's cheaper just to go through the Midtown Tunnel now.
Well, you're still paying that though when you come out the Midtown Tunnel.
You're not. No, I don't think.
Nah, Tiny. I swear on everything I love. You are still. They're gonna give you a credit, so you won't pay as much, but you are paying if you use that Midtown Tunnel. Do you know that even if you use the Holland Tunnel, because you got to drive on a regular street, you get in that tax. Any way you come through here, the only way you don't get the tax is if you get on, like, you know, at the 59th Street Bridge, when you go into Manhattan, you have that one lane that'll take you into the FDR Drive from there.
Right.
That's the only way. They'll let you go on the highway. You could take the FDR, go to up the riverside and everything like that. But if you get off that highway, anywhere under 60th Street, they got readers there. That's how many readers they put through Manhattan. Isn't that something? That's why I'm like, there's no way they're gonna change it.
Yeah, that's crazy.
That's crazy.
You know what else I think? I think they're just trying to chase out the broke people and keep the rich people there.
That's that. You know what, Tiny? They're gonna shut us down if I continue. They're gonna shut us down, Tiny. They be like, you're talking too much. They're gonna come after us. But it's true. I think that at the end of the day, they listen, through all of these years that I do a lot of reading, research things when I'm preparing for the show. And I come across a lot of different things. And I come across, sometimes you see taxes. Let's take taxes, for instance, right? What would be a lot of people's reason for not moving to Long Island or not moving to Westchester or something like that? What would their main reason be? The prices of the homes are actually cheaper in Long Island than they are in Queens. But the taxes, right?
His dad got one of the highest taxes property in the whole United States.
So here's the caveat to that. Prior to Trump getting into office, whatever taxes you paid, property tax, village tax, mortgage interest, you are able to write these things off at the end of the year and get that money back. A lot of people don't know that. So because you was writing it off, you was paying the taxes, but you was getting it right back. But they didn't say that to us. They wouldn't tell us. So now you staying there with this mind like, I can't live in Long Island because it's too expensive, the taxes. I can't live in Westchester. Right. And they use that as a barrier. You know what happened though? People got wise. People got smart. And now they're like, you know what? We got to find another way. I'm telling you, Tiny, I ain't going to go too deep. You already know what it is.
Yeah, right. Yes. Definitely, man. Yo, good show, man. I'm still tuned in.
Let's go. Shout out to my guy, Tiny, everybody. Appreciate you for tuning in. You already know what it is. I'll see you in a minute. You know what it is.
All right, no doubt.
All right, peace. Shout out to my guy, Daryl Simeon. He said facts. He said, laugh out loud. Remember the fools playing Pokemon Go, developed by a dude who worked for the NSA in order to do surveillance on people. Come on. People is happening. We got to be smarter. I know we're going to talk about some automotive stuff. I don't want to scare anybody. You already know what it is. We here. You know how we get down here. With that being said, shout out to everybody tuned in, paying attention. We appreciate y'all. It just goes to show that a lot of people feel strongly about this congestion pricing and a lot of the things that are going on in New York City. And I think we just got to ask ourselves, what is our New York City politicians doing to help? And it looks like it's nothing being done. I don't know if you ask me. But with that being said, shout out to everybody who's tuned in, paying attention. You know how we get down. We're going to move right along. We're going to jump right into our regular segment. But before we do, a couple other things I wanted to talk about. Like I said, we talked about the Cali situation. And shout to Tisha. She said, prayers for California. From Rally Radio, prayers for California. Because what I saw looked like a war zone. I was in shock. And I know everybody's like, oh, well, they're rich. And it doesn't matter. People lost their lives. People lost their belongings. They lost memorabilia. They lost, I don't want to see nobody lose. You feel what I'm saying? So prayers for them. I don't know what they're going to do with all of it. I don't know how this is going to pan out for them. I really don't. But you hate to see people lose, especially in that way. You just got to watch everything you worked for burn. That has to be, and it's something that you have no control over. It's not like you could turn on your hose and, you couldn't put the fire out yourself. It's like, could you imagine? I don't even want to imagine that. Prayers for them, and let's just hope that they get through this and they come out on the other side. With that being said, we get down. We are here in Rally Radio. We're going to set it off. So with that being said, let's jump right into this. Y'all know what it is. Let's go.
Weekly Specs. Auto news for all the listeners, only on Rally Radio.
All right, y'all know how we get down, man. This is our weekly specs. Y'all know how we get down. We like to give y'all a little bit of news, a little bit of automotive news and things that's going on. So we talked about the congestion pricing thing, and it looks like the first week of congestion pricing is turning New Yorkers against each other. We talked about that. What we didn't talk about, we didn't want to get into because we a little bit further along in the show, was that there's a lot of people who are advocating for parking permits. Shout out to Tisha. I will say this. It's going to get ugly before it get nice. It's gonna get ugly before it get nice. I'll tell you that. And I mean, just the fact that, like how Tiny just said, we got to be on the same page. Looks like New York congestion pricing turns Upper Manhattan neighbors into parking war zone as drivers take up spots to avoid toll. That's what's gonna happen. They're gonna start putting parking permits and everything surrounding it. Queensbridge, you're gonna need a parking permit for that. 60 and up, you're gonna need a parking permit for that. The Bronx, imagine that. The Bronx, you're gonna need a parking permit for that. So it's just it's only a matter of time. Like I said, shout out to everybody who's tuned in, paying attention. Try to make sure that we putting everybody on, letting everybody know what's going on. But with that being said, we're gonna move right along. We got some other news we want to talk about here. This is actually pretty good. This is in my opinion right here. So it looks like Toyota made a bet on Toyota Supras, and it worked. It looks like there are more people buying manual Supras than automatic Supras. Reason being, they look like they sold more. So even though I believe they're going to kill the Supra after this year, 2025, 2026, but still, just the fact that they was able to sell a bunch more of them is definitely something that they, at Toyota, definitely. Now, my thing is, I always ask this question, but, you know, if you could call up 516-206-0711, if you drive a sports car, would you want to drive an automatic sports car? There's no way. At least not in my opinion. Numbers down there at the bottom if you want to call up. I just think that if you're getting a sports car, it can't be auto. It can't be. You got to do yourself a favor. You got to make sure that you're making sure that it's manual, because there's no way I could agree to that whatsoever. I couldn't be like, oh, you know what? I want an automatic sports car. I just can't. I can't. Maybe you could. I don't know. Drop it in the comments if that's what you into. Could you? Or are you afraid? Do you even know how to drive manual? A lot of people don't know how to drive manual. So it looks like the Toyota Supra saw far more cars sold with a clutch pedal in 2024 than it did in the previous year. Stats tell us it's not even close. 65% of Supras opted for the 6-speed over the 8-speed automatic. Massive gains in manual sales. So it looks like this is a good thing for them. Shout to my guy Simi. He said, at least that I have an automatic Mustang. Oh, no. Man, you know what happens here, right? Look, no, we can't do that. But I understand. Just don't worry. The bearded one will be holding classes in manual, teaching people how to drive manual. But you got to bring the car, because I can't let you burn out my clutch. I don't care what nobody says. It is what it is. But with that being said, you know how we get down here at Rally Radio. So now, looks like we got another Tesla problem. Now, y'all know this wouldn't be Rally Radio if we don't talk about Tesla. Seems like Tesla's in the papers every week, but we try to leave them alone. I try not to talk about them, but it seems like every time I turn around, there's something going on with a Tesla car. Looks like Tesla full self-driving computer failures are bricking cars and disabling features. That's crazy. By this time, if you've been listening to Rally Radio and you've seen a lot of these things that's been going on, you know what I mean? You already know what it is. You know, at this point, you know, you kind of like buyer beware. You know what I mean? You need to think about that. But it looks like for what's happening is the full self-driving computer in these cars are failing. And when they fail, you lose a lot of the features that's on the screen, and it also bricks the car. Now, what do I mean by brick? Meaning, it's like a phone. If you've ever done an iOS update to a phone and turned it off before it was finished, and now you can't turn the phone on, yeah, that's your car. And to me, I don't know how many people really want a car like that. Like, I mean, like, think about it. You can't even start it because it's bricked. That's crazy. And it's 200, and it's a recall. It's 200,000 cars being recalled for that. I mean, it is what it is. But like I said, by this time, if you like Tesla, you like Tesla. It is what it is. You just know what you're walking into. So with that being said, Hey, joke's on you. But with that being said, also, we're going to talk about Ferrari a little bit. It looks like Ferrari is making their first electric car, and they're putting an exhaust on it. Not really exhaust, but a speaker that's going to be playing sounds. So Ferrari's upcoming EV breaks the silence with a patented sound system mimicking combustion engines. Now, the question is, we've already seen this done before. Will it work? I don't think so. You could this is what I mean about these electric vehicles, and this is where I believe they are like disowning those who really love autos, and they're going for another demographic. And I believe it's going to hurt a lot of the car companies in the end. And I believe it's showing right now, because ultimately, a lot of the people who go out there and buy a brand new car are car enthusiasts. Unless you out there buying a Nissan Altima, and I don't knock you for that. It is what it is. But if you out there buying yourself a Nissan Altima or something like that brand new, you're getting it because you have a need for it. So an electric vehicle, you probably wouldn't mind. But most people who go out there and spend the big buku dollars on a car are not trying to spend and get an electric vehicle. Think about it. My uncle loves Cadillac. He loves Escalades. He loves them. ESV. He wants one. He's going to get it. He's willing to spend the top dollar that he has to spend to get that car. You can't tell somebody like that, yeah, go pick him an electric car, because that's why he wants it. So he's the kind of person that would spend the top dollar. And you got to wonder, with these electric vehicles, who are they trying to grab? They're trying to grab people like my uncle that love he's a brand loyal guy, loves the cars, or they want people who don't really buy cars and they're really skeptical and, let me get this electric car. I don't know how they're going to play this out, but with Ferrari, it's a little different, because you spend upwards of $200,000 on a Ferrari. How many people are really, really, really going to spend that much money and get the same electric motors and batteries that a Tesla has, or that a Toyota has, or that, when does it change? Are they going to make more power? What's going to make it different? Why should I spend that much? And I think that a lot of people are going to get that twisted. It's definitely something they need to think about. But that, to me, with Ferrari talking about they're going to have an EV with the sound. So it says the system, based on a patent Ferrari filed roughly 2 years ago, amplifies the sound of electric motors and directs them out of the rear, giving the EV a voice of its own. The sound is designed to remain subtle during quiet cruising, but comes to life as drivers push the throttle. While the prototype's bassy tones differ from Ferrari's classic V8s and V12s, they aim to preserve the sensory thrill of driving a Ferrari, albeit with a controversial twist. Now, again, Dodge has tried this with their Dodge Charger EV, and we see how that's going. So, remains to be seen. Shout to Ferrari. Good luck to them, but I feel like this is the gong show right here. I can't lie. To me, it doesn't make any sense. But couple other things we got going on here. It looks like the Civic Type R. The Civic Type R is going to have black interior in Japan only. You already know that. Now, I drive a 2019 Honda Civic Type R. And I will say, black interior, I don't know how I feel about that. My seats are red, and they're bucket racing seats, yes. Now, how would I feel as far as changing that over to a black seat? I feel like when you get a Type R, you're getting it for something. It has to have something that stands out from the rest. If you're going to show me a white Civic Type R FL5 with a black interior and no red seats, then how do I tell the difference? Or the red stitch? Nobody cares. I could see this going crazy in the U.S. They're going to be pulling these seats out and selling them, but I can't see nobody really wanting to give up their own red seats. Not me, fans. I know I can't. But that, to me, sounds like something that Honda's going to have to work out. And then that's another thing about this brand loyalty. It looks like Honda's doing the same thing. I don't know if anybody paid attention to the CES that's been going on, the Customer Electronic Show, Consumer Electronics Show. Now, last year, there was nothing but automotive companies there. Nissan was there. Honda was there. All kind of car companies. This year, there was only one, and now that I seen, and that was Honda. And you know why that is? Because a lot of these car companies realize that this electric vehicle thing is going to be the downfall. But they pulling out. They see who's going in the office and how he feels about it and what he's gonna do. He's not out. Who knows if he's gonna sign law into law that you can have it, you're gonna force you to have an electric vehicle. Who knows? It's gonna be interesting. Shout to everybody who's tuned in paying attention. Don't forget, drop a like, drop a comment so we can shout you out. I see y'all out here. Shout to Bree Daily, tuned in, Brainer. Shout to Letitia Williams, aka Woo. You already know what it is. Appreciate all of y'all. Now, last week we talked about how the Dodge Charger couldn't even do a burnout. The Dodge Charger EV couldn't do a burnout. So the Dodge Charger EVs had a rough going. One, it replaced one of the legends that we call the legend here at Rally Radio. But not only did it replace it, they replaced it with what we thought was garbage. I mean, if anybody's seen this Dodge Charger, maybe you like it. I don't like it. But they replaced it and called it E-Muscle, a performance EV. And it couldn't even do a burnout. So now you got to look at it. Do people really want it? I don't know. Dodge said they fixing it. Apparently, they heard Rally Radio last week, too. You got to give it up to Dodge for listening to Rally Radio. But it looks like Dodge wants to fix this electric vehicle not being able to do a burnout. They said they're fixing it. The new version of Line Lock launches next year alongside the SRT model. So they're going to have an SRT model with this thing. God help us all. I don't know. Good luck. I don't see how this thing moves mountains at all. But you got a lot of people out there who look like they want to move with it. Shout out to everybody who's tuned in, paying attention. Don't forget, drop a like, drop a comment so we can shout you out. Appreciate everybody who's tuned in, rocking with us today. Definitely been an interesting day to say the least. But got a lot of other different things we want to talk about. We're going to jump into our next segment over here because this is about to get interesting.
It's Tech Talk with Pop the Bearded One and S.I. Shaw.
You already know what it is, man. We are here. We are in the building. With that being said, now this Tech Talk, we're going to be talking about it. So Chevy has recently came out with the Corvette ZR1. We all saw the numbers. Corvette hitting 200 miles an hour or 180 miles an hour under its own power. This Corvette is probably going to be one of the baddest Corvettes out there. You know what? It is. But for that price point, this Chevy Corvette to me is officially out of reach for the regular working man or woman. I don't see none of us being able to afford this at that price point. It looks like the 2025 Chevy Corvette ZR1 is going to start at $174,995. That is crazy. They said the C8 generation ZR1 massively undercuts its supercar foes on price. Now, this is true. Now, the 2025 Chevy Corvette ZR1 is going to have 1,064 horsepower, 233 mile an hour top speed, sub 10 second quarter mile, and the list goes on. But if you are a fan of a Ferrari, Porsche, Lamborghini, are you really going to go away from them to buy this Vet? Remains to be seen. And at that price point, they've priced out the regular guy that would have loved to own this vehicle. Now, I think 174 is built with everything. I mean, with the carbon fiber canards, the aero package, carbon fiber wheels, super performance tires, big brakes. I think this is everything that you could put on this car. But when you look at the Porsche 911 GT3, which is a holy grail of vehicles, if I'm going to say so myself, it starts at $224,000. I mean, we talking big numbers. We talking house numbers around here. The McLaren Artura starts at $254,000, and the Ferrari 296 GTB starts at $346,000. That is unheard of. One more time.
Give me your fucking money.
This is crazy out here, but it's happening. With that being said, remember the Corvette, shout out to my guy Camacho too. The Corvette has always been the poor man's sports car. It has always been. Everybody, why do they call it that? Because it was affordable. The middle class man, he could reach for that car, get that car. A lot of men got them when they retired, or women got them when they retired. But at $174,000, This is just going to the big dogs now. I don't see anybody like, unless, let me not say anybody, because you got some people that make a lot of money, but 174,000, those people who were Corvette loyalists that actually bought a lot of the Corvettes that came out, they just gonna have to get the base model. Base model is costing you about 60, 70 grand. That's just where you got to stay. This Corvette ZR1 is costing 174, rounded off to 175,000. But then again, I guess if you want a Porsche 911 GT3 at 224, I guess 174 is nothing. But that's just something to think about. I don't know how anybody that's or like anybody that's really a Corvette enthusiast now could really reach for those numbers. Even though it is one of the baddest not baddest, but you know what I mean, like one of the greatest performing cars or Corvettes that we've seen to date. Like I said, with 1,034 horsepower, 234 mile an hour top speed, and we talking stuck to the ground. It is an auto, though. It does not come manual. This is the first time that they've made the Corvette fully auto again, and this is leading me into my next topic, and also the topic of conversation that you see here in the title. When you look at the Corvette ZR1 and it's fully auto, that right there turned off a lot of enthusiasts, especially Corvette enthusiasts. They didn't care about the top speed. They don't care about, listen, it's all about the drive to a lot of people that buy performance cars. So now, with that being said, we're going to jump right into the topic at hand. And what you see up here, Subaru has now released a new STI. It is finally back. So the last Subaru that came out, or STI rather, was an S209 body. This is the S210 body. Now, they've come out with so many different cars, but not an STI. There was the WRX TR, the WRX GT, and soon to be released WRX TS. Now, Subaru has officially said they're going to release a WRX STI. Now, a lot of people was waiting for this car. A lot of people waiting for the Subaru STI to come out. But guess what? To all the listeners, it is going to be auto only with a CVT transmission. Now, we already know most of the people that buy this car is not buying it auto. Let's just put that out there. A lot of people who are buying this Subaru, they're not buying it they're not buying an automatic Subaru STI. They make WRXs for that. If you want an automatic Subaru, go get yourself a WRX, go get a Legacy or something like that, a Outback, but you don't go for the holy grail if you don't know how to drive manual. And that is the thing that a lot of car companies did. It is what it is. The Honda Civic Type R, manual only. You know, when you look at a lot of the greater performance cars, they're manual, but now they're converted and they're making a lot of these cars automatic, i.e. Corvette ZR1, i.e. Dodge Demon, only automatic, right? And it just leaves a lot. If you're that kind of car person, which I am, you know what I mean? Shout to my guy Seneca, tuned in. If you're that kind of car person, then auto just doesn't move you. It's like I'll drive the car or whatever if that's how it comes out. Like if somebody gave me a Corvette ZR1 auto, hey, it is what it is. I just got to enjoy it. Porsche 911 GT3, and I didn't get the manual one. It's okay. Listen, it's how it comes. But you look at a car like this. This was the kind of car that only came manual, and you wanted it as such. So it's like now to see that, it's like the Civic Type R being automatic. It's like, why? The thing is, being an enthusiast, there was a line. People who buy cars, they can hang with you up to a point, but once you get into that manual driving, it was like, we're going to leave that to you. And at the end of the day, these cars were for enthusiasts. Now they're for everybody. So that's my problem with the Subaru WRX STI. And on top of that, it's a CVT. And it's only in Japan. on top of that, it's not coming to America. They're only making 500 units of this, and this has been announced at the Tokyo Auto Salon 2025. So this is definitely, and I mean the interior is beautiful. They finally did a nice thing with the seats. Everything looks great, but here we go. It's only going to be auto. It's only going to be in Japan, and they're only going to release 500 units of it. So now, what are they telling you? They're telling you that this is probably the last that we're going to see. And not for nothing, Subaru did hint at emissions being a problem and electrification being on their menu. That's what they're going to do. They're going to move on, and this is probably the last one. But I would say, I feel like they're missing out, because if they could have just made this manual, I believe they would sold a lot more of them. And to me, that makes it more legendary status. You give everybody who's been Subaru loyalists, because if you own a Subaru or if you've been driving a Subaru for performance, you are a loyalist to it, because that engine, that EJ engine, has not changed in years. And that means you just love the platform. What do you leave them with? This? I don't understand. This is to me, this is just like what I mean about brands getting away from the people who created them. It's like, I guess they trying to, net this other demographic, and it just doesn't make sense to me. But it looks like it's gonna be non-manual or auto rather, and it's only gonna be in Japan. Now the question is, when they sell out, will people be swapping them for the manual transmission? See, that is always going to be up on the table too, because the Subarus, especially the STI transmission, a lot of them want that transmission. Maybe they're going to make it so that they can swap it. And that's one thing that I love about the Japanese car market and the Japanese brands in general. They always seem to leave a little something on the table for you to do something, which is one of the reasons why I love Honda, because it's more than meets the eye. Like you could have a Honda or, and you'd be like, it's underpowered, but they leave little things, little tea leaves, breadcrumbs for you to find and follow to make the car whatever you want. And it's like, you've seen them. We've seen the Civics out on the street. You think when Honda made that hatchback, they actually thought that they would be all-wheel drive turbo, making 1,000 horsepower, dominating drag strips? No. But it was there. They left it there. They made a lot of the parts interchangeable, because they knew when they came over to America, like, they're going to kill a lot of this. The bumpers got to be able to take a certain amount of action before it bends, breaks, or whatever have you. And they left it like, you know what? But if they grab this Integra GSR engine out of that and put it in there you go. And I feel like Honda has never really embraced that. They just left it out on the table, but they never really embraced it. And Subaru as well. I feel like a lot of the car companies are not embracing the people who really buy these cars, the people who buy the STIs, the people who buy the Nissan 400Zs, the people who buy the Honda Civic Type Rs. To me, the Civic Type R is one of the last of the Mohicans that you can only buy manual. And I feel like ultimately they're going to succumb to it too, because it's like they don't have a choice, but just sell them the automatics that you do have. Why does it have to be that car? Why does the Civic Type R have to be auto? Why would the Subaru STI have to be auto? To me, it just doesn't make sense. You missing out on, you turning away your demographic. And that's what I think is the real problem. You're turning away your demographic. And what does it say to those that's been brand loyal to you all this time? That we don't care what you want or what you think. Look at Toyota. Let's take Toyota, for instance. Toyota came out with the Supra. Not only did they work with BMW to create the Supra, which turned a lot of Toyota people off, they also then come out with a manual version first. It was always auto. What did that do? That hurt their sales. And I believe it hurt their sales from Jump Street. Now, what did Toyota do to rectify that? The GR Supra, they was able to have a manual option. And you just heard me say that the manual option in 2024 sold 65% more than the auto versions. It just goes to show that there is a demographic out there. I don't know if they're paying attention to these numbers like that, but they should be. Because there is a demographic out there for these things. And it's just got to keep that in mind. These are the people that made your brand. Or better yet, made this vehicle. You think of, like I said, you think about the Supra, the GR Corolla. Like, these are cars that just shouldn't be auto. Listen, if you don't want to put the time in to learn how to drive this car properly and operate this machine properly, we got this automatic version XSC over here for you. Or we have this automatic V6 with an 8-speed automatic. That's good. You can have that. But as far as the performance side is concerned, you're not ready for that. But I digress. Here at Rally Radio, you know how we get down here. Shout to everybody. Tuned in, paying attention. Don't forget, drop a like, drop a comment so we can shout you out. Now, one of the other things that I did see scanning the internet for this Tokyo Auto Salon, because the 2025 Tokyo Auto Salon, from what I've seen, is man, we're gonna be there next year. Rally Radio is gonna have to be there next year, because to me, I've seen from the videos and pictures that I've seen, it looks like a place you want to be. I mean, every tuner is there, every Japanese tuner, and this is what I love about the Japanese car culture. It's woven, is woven into their tradition. Like, this is why, they're one of the last to really adopt this electric vehicle thing, because it's woven into their tradition. Shout to my guy Simeon. He said, "Where are the manual classes at?" Don't worry, I got you. I had a hoopty, man, that was manual. I should have kept it, man. I ought to teach everybody. I show the world, look, this is how you do it. It's a great feeling when you operating a car and you're using all your senses. It's like, you remember, you're using both feet, both hands, steering wheel, shift, clutch, brake, gas. You're using and I'm telling you, it's the most fulfilling. You want to stop people from falling asleep behind the wheel? Make it manual. If you let the car drive for you, I might as well go to sleep. You know what I'm saying? It's just what it is. But with that being said, shout to my guy Simeon. I hear you. Don't worry, I got you. But the last thing I want to talk about here before we move on to our next segment is going to be the Mazda MX-5. Now, this Mazda, it looks like this is another great Mazda that they had there at the Tokyo Auto Salon. They talked about it. But this Mazda MX-5 is coming with the most power that it's ever had. Forged raised wheels, which I think is tremendous. But this car, for those that don't know, is the quintessential car for the driving experience. It's rear-wheel drive. It's front-engine rear-wheel drive. Nice amount of power. Manual. It brings you right back to where it all started. And I think that one of the reasons this car, especially the Miata or MX-5 rather, however you want to call it, depending on where you are, I believe that the reason this car has such enthusiasts, and look how Mazda is still putting it out there. They're not stupid. Mazda done sold so many CX-9s and, other cars that you couldn't shake, that you could sneeze at. They've sold a lot. But you notice how they keep their Mazda Miata around, because at the end of the day, that's a pledge that they're making to their enthusiasts. We talked about our Legends of Auto, Mrs. Nishimoto, who owned the Mazda RX-7 from 55 to almost 80 years old. And one of the reasons that she owned it was because that Mazda RX-7 gave her the drive of her life. It felt like her friend, she said. At the end of the day, think about the driving experience. She ended up giving the car back to Mazda. And Mazda said, we're going to take care of this and we're going to put it at our shows. But it just goes to show how people feel about those brands. When you're brand loyal, when you have people that are brand loyal, this is what they do. They keep coming back. And I feel like a lot of these guys, automotive companies don't want to do that. But shout to Mazda, MX-5 12 bar, most powerful factory Miata ever. And it's at the Tokyo Auto Salon. Limited edition racing inspired trim, which is crazy. It cranks out 197 horsepower, ready to go to the track. Only 200 units will be made for the Japanese market only. Again, the Japanese market only. Shout out to my guy, Shy, tuned in. My dude said the only reason to not have a manual sports car is only because I can't get it manual. Exactly. If you can't get it manual, I understand. But if I could get it manual, I don't want it. I've told everybody my story about me going to get a Dodge Challenger Hellcat. Shout out to my wife because she was there with me. I was ready to prick my finger and sign in blood. I wanted the car so bad, I built it. Dodge Challenger Hellcat. It was electric blue, red seats, brass monkey wheels, 707 horsepower. And when we got to the transmission, he said, okay, we're going to put the order through 8-speed automatic. I said, don't do that. Not an 8-speed automatic. I want manual. And at this time, it was still the COVID era, and they was having problems getting the chips. And he said, right now, we're not offering that manual option. The only way we could give you a manual option is if you get the 392 manual. And the problem is that they wanted almost as much money. And this is around the time where cars were few and far in between. The market worked on their side. But you know what? He said, listen, I'll get you this 8-speed automatic, and it'll be for this price. And you know what I did? I pushed myself away from the table. I said, no, sir, I do not want that. And I mean, they said, listen, we have an automatic Hellcat here. 8-speed is great. Yeah, just take it out and take it for a test drive. I said, I will not. Because at the end of the day, I wanted it manual. And I feel like at the end of the day, if the Hellcat never came manual again, or if they go into my wildest dreams and they reproduce them and they never came manual again, I'd probably go for a used one. That's how serious it is. So once I walked out of there, there was only one other car that I wanted that I know was going to be manual and that I could get my hands on. And that was AKA Sonic outside, the 2019 blue, Azion blue Honda Civic. So that's why I got that. Because ultimately it was manual. And that's how strong I feel about it. So with that being said, we're going to move right along because we're going to get into our next segment, which is leading me from our tech talk into it. And everybody, like I said, if you here, don't forget, drop a like, drop a comment so we can shout you out. But with that being said, we're going to jump right in.
Driver's etiquette. Because sometimes you got to get this off your chest.
All right, driver's etiquette. We are here. Shout out to everybody who's tuned in, paying attention. You already know what it is. It's Rally Radio. It's the bearded one in the building. I am here every Saturday. Please forgive me for the tardiness because I just had some other things I had to handle, definitely. But I want to talk about this today. Are car brands trying to disconnect themselves from their loyal fan base? And if so, why? Now, that's a relative question, right? If you look at it through the eyes of a businessman, no, they're not. They're only doing what they can. They're trying to sell as many cars as possible. And that's how a lot of people are going to look at it. Oh, well, they can't sell all of these kind of cars because, they can't sell all of them pretty much, right? But I do believe that a lot of these car brands now are trying to disconnect themselves from their loyal fan bases. And why do I say that? Shout to Shy. He said EV is for the China market. It's a money grab for that new growing car economy. That's a fact. So the reason I say that they're trying to disconnect is because they have moved on to this electric vehicle thing without input from the car community at all. This has been done, one, mainly due to emissions restrictions and things of that nature. It's been done for that, but also because this is where they say the world is going and, probably more people are going to be buying that. Or so they thought, right? Because the EV numbers, I can tell you right now, are not the same as they were when we was having a chip shortage and when Tesla really, really blew up on the scene. Not that they haven't been around for a little while, but everybody wanted one. Now, things are a little different. If you look at the EV market now, they are damn near giving these cars away. Here, look, 72 months, 0 APR, free charging for lifetime. Like, they're doing any and everything that they can. And you know what? That's just them. That's what they want. But as far as the car brands themselves, they're disconnected from their loyal fans. It's either you could afford it or you can't. And that is what I'm saying about the Corvette ZR1. Corvette ZR1, $175,000. Either you can afford it or you can't. The Subaru STI, even though it's going to be auto, which I hate, it's going to be in Japan. It's limited to 500 units. Either you could afford it or you can't. Civic Type R, when they come out, sticker be about, I think the sticker now for this one, for the FL5 2024, is about $43,000 or $44,000. Either you could afford it or you can't. And I feel like that's why the brands are getting away from, and they're disconnecting themselves from their loyal fan base. Because there's guys that I know that are Subaru guys. They know any and everything from the rooter to the tutor about a Subaru. This has to hurt them. There's Honda guys. The fact that the Type R is still one of the manual cars that's left, we all happy about that. But now you Chevy Corvette guys that, one, couldn't get the manual on the car, and two, can't afford it now because it's all the way up there. But it's what it is. They're disconnecting themselves, and I think a lot of it has to do with money. A lot of it has to do with money, and you know what's the sad part about it is? The enthusiast guy is the one that's going to spend the money, right? And I say this all the time. They could sell 1,000 cars with cloth interior, smallest engines, roll down windows, no power windows. They can sell 1,000 of them and probably barely break even. But most people, or not most people, but most car guys, when we go get a car, we don't just go get a car with the base model. No, we go all the way. We want everything in it because we know that keeps the resale value having those items. We know it. So we'll break the bank. And I know you've seen it. You go to dealerships and you see the sports car in the middle of the dealership and you see all the other little cars around it. How many of those you have here? I only got this one. How much you want? I want 80,000. That's 20,000 over the sticker price. Yeah, but it's the only one I got. And there you go. The sports car guy keeps these things, the car enthusiast in general keeps these things going. So it's something we got to think about here. If they break away from their fan base, what would cause that? And really, in all honesty, I believe it's the fact that the politics and politicians are getting involved in a lot of the things that are for automotive people, automotive culture. This is why I believe Japan is one of the last, because their automotive culture is woven into their tradition. They have cartoons about automotive racing. Think about that. In the 1980s, there was so many different car clubs, and it was just so woven in that you just couldn't get around it. So that's just what they did. So now you take a look around now, it's nothing like that. And it just goes to show how they like, we trying to get away from that. Trying to get away from making cars like that. You know why? Because the performance guy does demand more. They do. If I'm going to pay the top dollar, you got to give me something. But at the end of the day, it's just a sad thing to see. What we're seeing is a lot of car companies cut off their base because they going for more money. But what happens is a lot of times those people are not spending the money that they need to spend, and then they come back to us. So it remains to be seen. I just feel like, the car guy is always going to get the short end of the stick. Pause. That was crazy. By the way, that vernacular was wow. I'm sorry. That was crazy. I didn't even mean that. But with that being said, we are here in the building. Shout out to my guy, Let's go. Is that SP the Dawn? SP the Dawn is back. I've been gone for a minute, but I'm back. Dude. Shout to Shy. He said the quiet racing dude is getting a $76,000 charge to try to get that Z06. Right. Upcharge. This is what I'm saying. But you know what? Most car guys will pay it. And that is always going to be the difference. So shout to everybody who's tuned in, paying attention. You know how we get down here, man. We appreciate everybody for tuning in and rocking with us. With that being said, we're going to jump right into our next segment. Y'all know how we get down. We ain't going to be on the air much longer, but I got so many things I wanted to talk about. But this is one of them, actually, exactly two. Before we get up out of here, we're going to go into our next little segment that we got here. Shout out to everybody who's tuned in, paying attention.
Legends of Auto. Real legends never die.
All right, we're going to jump right into our Legends of Auto. Now, for those that don't know, Legends of Auto is something that we do here at Rally Radio. We like to it could be anything that was legendary in the art of automotive, motorsports, motorcycles, planes. We love it. Today, we're going to be talking about, and y'all ready for this? This is what leads me back to the 80s. This is going to be all about, and this guy is probably a legend. If you don't know who he is, that's because you're not engulfed in the JDM culture, but check it out when I give it to you. His name is Ichi Yoshida. Excuse me. The Yoshida Specials 930 Turbo was the car owned by the chairman of Midnight Racing. He was the chairman of Midnight Racing. So for those that don't know Midnight Racing, if you've played Tokyo Extreme Racer, if you've played a lot of these games, this is where it originated with this guy right here, the Midnight Racing team. The nickname for the car of the Porsche that he owned, the 930 Turbo, was the Blackbird Porsche from Wang and Midnight. It's one of the fastest cars used in street racing in the 1980s and 90s. It was unbeaten on the Bayshore route. The official top speed was 308 kilometers per hour, but it was 320 plus on the highways in Japan and 340 in Germany. Midnight Club had many members who were businessmen, doctors, lorry drivers, who were all car guys who like to race and tune their cars. But this guy in particular, he started a lot of the things that you see now. And it just goes to show that Japan had a culture where these things took place, but they took place late night. They had a code. They made sure that they wasn't endangering anybody. If you were caught endangering somebody with any antics that you were doing, you were bounced from the scene. And a lot of these guys, they are still around to this day. A lot of them own performance shops. But I recently came across a video where they was looking at the 930 Turbo, and I was just so impressed that I said, this has to be the legend, because it was one of those cars that, and along with Yoshida, it was one of those cars that it just car met owner at the right time, and that's what we got. It was shipped to Porsche at least 3 times for upgrades, borrowing parts from the racing division. Yoshida wanted to keep the car true to Porsche's racing heritage. He was determined to tune the 930, even though it was starting to age. At times, he also considered making it a twin-turbo spec, but decided not, as he didn't want to change the originality of the Porsche. This guy, Yoshida, really spent his money and time with this car. It is still one of the most top Porsches ever in Japan, tuned by Japan. Came across it, actually seen them lift the rear for the engine, the rears and the Porsche engines in the rear, and he had a custom made Trust intercooler. The car was making 700 horsepower. Even the bumpers to this day are sold at a high immaculate price. So with that being said, Yoshida and the Midnight 930 Turbo Porsche, you are
Legends of Auto. Real legends never die.
I will say this, man. If there was one car I could own, I would like for it to be that. So with that being said, you know how we get down. We're going to move right along. We got our last segment before we get up out of here.
It's the Understeer,
What up?
where we like to ask, what the hell were you thinking?
We're going to call Subaru down today. Subaru today, you get our Understeer. So Subaru has always been lacking and falling behind as far as the other JDM cars are concerned. Not that they probably care, but ultimately, with what they're doing with the STI, they are effectively getting rid of their fan base. And that was really the premise of today's show. I don't agree with it. I think that what they're doing is they're not even, it's like never having closure in a long-term relationship. You never got a chance to say, you know what, this is the last one, and that's going to be it. They don't do that. They're not giving all of the Subaru loyal that. And I think that right there makes them understeer, because they're leaving a lot on the table. I understand that you can't keep making these cars. I understand that emissions. I understand electrification. I understand all of that. But what does that have to do with right now? Right now, you could produce what we would call a heritage edition, one that has everything that everybody's looking for. You could actually up the price about $20,000, and people would still buy it because they are loyal to the Subaru brand. But as long as you are going to do this and go auto, you're going to lose a lot more of your loyalists than you think you will. And ultimately, you're going to lose your title as one of the top 5 JDM brands out here. So with that being said, Subaru, you.
It's the Understeer.
What up?
Where we like to ask, what the hell were you thinking?
Shout out to my guy Anthony Green tuning in, my dude. Appreciate you. With that being said, we've reached the end of the show. Shout out to everybody who's tuned in, paying attention. Don't forget, exhaust notes. We're going kart racing next week. I need a head count if you're going. Pause. Need to know who's going and who's not. That was crazy. I ain't gonna never hear no vernacular like that again. But we need to know who's going, who's go-karting out there with us. But with that being said, I want to shout to everybody that tuned in with me today. Sorry for the tardiness, but I did make it in. Shout to my guy, Anthony Green. We appreciate you. Shout to my guy, Tiny. Shout to Tisha Adelot. Shout to Jessica Grandy. Shout to Shy. Shout to SP the Dawn for tuning in. Shout to my guy, Daryl Simeon. Seneca tuned in. That's what I'm talking about. I appreciate all of y'all, man. You already know what it is. Shout to my sister, Tanya. Shout to my guy, Rolex, for tuning in, dropping a couple verses. You already know what it is. Shout to my mom for tuning in. Shout to Yannick Grizz, the Sam, for tuning in with some great information. We appreciate that. Shout to everybody who rocked with us today. Shout to everybody who dropped a like. Shout to Ronald Wiggins, John R. Ross, Sabrina Daly, Letitia Williams. Shout to my guy, Flip. And shout to everybody who rocked with us today at Rally Radio. I appreciate every last one of y'all. With that being said, you know how we get down here, man. I appreciate all of y'all for tuning in. Don't forget, we here every Saturday, 12 noon, Rally Radio, Bars and Hoops Radio, YouTube at Rally Radio Podcast. And with that being said, I appreciate all of y'all. Don't forget, if you want to go to this karting event, we're going to be there next week. So let it be known, the 18th, 5 p.m., RPM Raceway. That's where we're going to be at out there in Farmingdale. We got a lot of people out here talking a lot of mess. We're going to see what they all about. And don't forget, we're going to have 4 of these events this year, and we're going to make sure that we put everybody's time slips together, and that's what's going to make the champion, because we're going to have a little something for the champion. So with that being said, shout out to everybody who rocked with us today. And until next week, I am out.
Drop the clutch, hit the gas. Rally Radio, where the fast life meets the fast lane.
Yeah.
You're now tuned into Bars and Hoops Radio. Where the world of hip-hop and sports live.
Dropping the clutch and then I hit the gas. Wheels screeching, tires burning, I'm flying past. Gotta get home quick, don't wanna miss the class. They schooling you on whips and how to make them fast. Talking about everything from cars to planes. What's hot, what's next, and how to flip the game. They talk in my language, we speak the same. That whip talk complex, but yet they keep it plain. From the news, the interviews, they keep it cool. They give reviews, everything from parts to tools. Can't lose, come to whips, they not no fools. Don't miss the show, the start time is noon. The bearded one, SI Sean, they crazy though. You can't miss it, tune in to Rally Radio.
Where the fast life meets the fast lane.